In all honesty, protagonists have been an interesting topic for me, because there are so many that I could consider for my list. It was so hard just narrowing it down to 10, so before I get into my list, I'm going to just name off a few honourable mentions. I'm going to start off the honourable mentions with Light Yagami from Death Note. Death Note was one of my first animes I watched, still to this day boasts one of the best protagonists in shonen. Light followed an anti-hero route, and was kind of followed and done way better in my opinion by Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. Another one of my honourable mentions is Kageyama, aka Mob from Mob Psycho. Mob is an amazing protagonist that goes through a lot of great developments within his series, but he just barely didn't make the list. My third and final honourable mention is Takemichi from Tokyo Revengers. Takemichi is a great protagonist and a perfect underdog character, but he didn't quite make the cut for my list. Without any further ado, let's get into the video. In my number 10 spot I have Luffy. Luffy as a protagonist is perfect for the story of One Piece. We see him having to overcome a lot of different trials throughout the story as a captain and as a character. I love his goofy attitude, his lovable personality, and what he represents in the story of One Piece is amazing. In my number 9 spot I have Gon from Hunter x Hunter. I think we all know Gon is an amazing character. His development in the Chimera Ant arc is done amazingly. The way Gon mirrors the main antagonist really represents the themes of the arc. That's a topic for another video. I think Gon is a great character and someone that definitely deserves a place in my top 10. In my number 8 spot I have Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. Yes, 2 Togashi characters in a row. What I love about Yusuke is his short-tempered attitude, which makes him an enjoyable character to watch. But what really makes Yusuke so amazing is that my boy is a trendsetter. He got isekai before your boy Suguru even existed. Yes, the origin of the word anime jerk, but in all seriousness, I love the way Yusuke acts around everyone. He's just an overall fun character. In my number 7 spot I have Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. Eren started off as a character I hated in the beginning of the series, but my man put on a jacket and became an absolute menace to society. The reason I love Eren so much is because of how good he is at progressing the plot of Attack on Titan, and how his actions really set up key story points. Even though I did have a bit of a problem with his ending, I overall still think Eren is a very amazing character. My number 6 spot I have Johnny Joestar from JoJo's Mid-Adventure, which is mid. If you haven't read Steel Will Run, read it, it's a masterpiece. I love how Johnny can seem like a morally grey character at times. The way he always acts selfishly and puts himself before anyone else is an amazing contrast to his counterpart Jonathan. For me, what makes him such an amazing protagonist is he starts off as useless and Jiraiya almost takes a protagonist role throughout most of the part. Johnny goes through some amazing development and is a very well written character throughout the whole of part 7. Being crippled, I am astonished with what he's able to achieve just in this part. In my number 5 spot I have Onizuka from Great Teacher Onizuka. Alright, now Onizuka is the fucking goat, no one can say otherwise. What makes Onizuka such a great protagonist is how he starts off the series as a pervert, but ends up changing his class for the better, helping so many of his students grow in the process. Like when he saves one of his students from suicide multiple times, Onizuka is a really amazing character, hands down the best mentor in anime. In my number 4 spot I have Lelouch from Code Geass. Lelouch is the definition of an anti-hero done perfectly. Lelouch gets a power called the Geass, which gives him the ability to force anyone to do what he says. After getting this power, he tries to fix the corrupt society from the inside. The way he goes about this is done perfectly. He is even better by the events of the final episode of his anime. But I ain't trying to spoil. If you haven't seen Code Geass, it's a must watch. In my number 3 spot I have Guts from Berserk. When you meet Guts, he definitely comes off as a morally grey character. But when we see his beautiful but tragic backstory, we really can start to get behind him and understand his motives and why he acts the way he does. His motives for revenge become understandable and it really makes you attached to the character and want to follow his story. In my number 2 spot I have Gintoki from Gintama. Gintoki was a character I loved from the start, but there's a certain point in the story where he goes from great to absolutely amazing. His backstory hit, and it hits hard, very hard. And the build up for his backstory and everything that happened in the SAR was amazing. And my number 1 spot goes to none other than Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. Thorfinn has one of the best revenge stories in manga, and his character develops a lot just in the first season. Then the farmland arc hits. We see a completely new side to Thorfinn's character. We see his despair, emptiness and regret after the ending sequences of a war arc. The way he developed as a character during the Farmland arc was handled perfectly. This and many more reasons is why Thorfinn makes the number 1 spot on my list. Anyway, this has been my top 10 protagonists. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you like talking about anime and manga, join the Discord, link in the description. A quick shout out to my editor JoeTech for working on this video for me. This link will also be in the description. Anyways, this has been Killy and I'm out.